Good morning from the UK. My name is Simon Gray and this is the Super Secret Scope because I'm author of two books, both with the starting title Super Secrets of the Successful Job Seeker and Super Secrets of Successful Executive Job Search. I'm broadcasting to you this morning from the UK, and actually you wouldn't believe it, but it's a really sunny morning. I just seem to have found the only shady spot. Anyway, this morning just a really quick scope. I'm going to talk to you about three things that you may not know about LinkedIn that can help you raise your profile on LinkedIn, whether that's if you're looking for a career, looking for a job, or whether you're looking to promote your business. And just going to give you those three tips before I head off to a client where I'm working today to do some stuff on social media. So anyway, let's kick off with LinkedIn. So on a previous scope, I talked about using LinkedIn as what I call a shop window. So this is where you put your profile up and you put all the bells and whistles on there, the photo, the skills, the this, the that, the other. And that's a bit like starting a shop, putting it up in the high street and expecting people to walk in. What I'm going to talk to you about this morning is how you actually go out and be proactive. Use LinkedIn as what I call a proactive engagement tool. Because whether you're in the business of finding a job, or whether you're in business generally, then LinkedIn is a hugely important tool. Hello from Los Angeles. There we go. Got a friend over in LA, so don't think we know each other, but yeah, hello from LA. You guys must be just about going to bed, but it's quite early here in the UK. Okay, so tip number one is publish posts. So if you go to your LinkedIn profile and you go to your LinkedIn profile and you click at the top on publish posts, what you can do is I'm just reading that question, I'll come back to that. What you can do is click on publish post and you can write a blog post. Now you might think, why bother writing a blog post? And the reason to write a blog post, and you can do this on LinkedIn even if you don't have a website, the reason to write a blog post is because people read it. They do. I bump into people all the time that say, "Oh, I've just read your post on LinkedIn." I'm like, "Have you?" But people do. A post I did last week, within the space of 3 or 4 days, had got 1,500 views and 150 likes. So it's a great way to position yourself in the job market and to also position yourself in business. So if you go on to publish posts, what you do, you put a catchy title in, the 3 things, the 5 things, the 2 things, or the most important thing you need to know to get people's interest. Much the same as I did with this scope this morning, 3 things for LinkedIn. So it's easily digestible. And then you put your catchy title and you write your content. Then you put a photo at the top and then you post it. Now the thing people have missed, and the thing that's fairly new on LinkedIn, is you can add tags at the bottom that categorize your post, the content of your post. So if you're in a particular sector, you might want to tag that. If you've got a particular niche or a particular skill, you might want to tag that, because that's what people will search for you on LinkedIn. Somebody just put up a question a little while ago that said it's recruiters on LinkedIn all day. Well, that's true. Not just recruiters, but I used to be a recruiter for 10 years. So yes, recruiters are on there. But if you are looking for a job, then you've got to be on LinkedIn, because before businesses will generally go to the marketplace, i.e. to job boards or to recruiters, what they'll probably do now is have a little bit of a look on LinkedIn. And if you're on LinkedIn, you may get found ahead of them going out to everybody else via recruiters or job boards. It's a place I call in I think both my books, I call it the hidden market, which is the place where people search for talent before they actually go out to mass market. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, that's top tip number 1, but make sure you tag your posts so people know what your posts are about. So tip number 2 is groups. So is anyone in groups on LinkedIn? Anybody in groups? Anyone know how to use groups or why you might use groups? Okay, well I'll tell you. So groups on LinkedIn, if you think of LinkedIn as like an ocean, a huge ocean, okay, massive. To get caught in that ocean is pretty difficult. But if you think about LinkedIn groups as ponds or lakes within that big ocean, it's much easier to get seen. And imagine each of those lakes or ponds have a certain type of fish in them. So somebody who wants to catch a salmon or a trout or whatever else goes to the pond that has the salmon or trout in it. So how does that relate to LinkedIn and to groups? Well, if you're in a creative business, creative industry business, and you want to be found for your skills and experience, best place to be is to start a discussion on LinkedIn about that. Because people who are looking to hire people with your skills and experience will be looking in groups. When I ran my recruitment company, I got a job from a big employer locally who told me they were looking on LinkedIn themselves, but could I help as well? And they asked me to recruit an IT auditor. Now, an IT auditor is pretty hard to come by. So I went into a LinkedIn group called IT Audit and posted, has anyone out there got this experience looking for a job? Somebody responded, this is the guy that got the job. If he hadn't been on LinkedIn, I never would have found him. But he was, and he was in the right group, which made it easy for me to find him. So think about what your sector is, whether it's business or whether it's job search, and get into groups. But my top tip for groups is, first of all, go into the group and listen. Listen to what the conversations are about. Don't go in there and shout about you're looking for a job or this, that, and the other, because you'll turn people off. Think of it like in the real world. You know, if you go to a party, you don't walk into the room and start shouting. You go in, you listen to the conversation, you stand at the side. Somebody says you're near the iPro Stadium. Absolutely, I can see it. I've got Brian Clough to my left. And yeah, how do you know that? I mean, I'm intrigued. How do you know that? Maybe from the map. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You obviously know the UK quite well. Yeah, LinkedIn groups. Enough said on that. So the final tip is using LinkedIn as a proactive tool is to use the advanced people search. So if you wanted to target somebody in a particular business to make an introduction, you can do it on LinkedIn. You can find pretty much anyone, anywhere, in any business on LinkedIn. So if you want to talk to the chief executive of, I don't know, XYZ Limited, you can probably find the chief executive on LinkedIn. And if you approach him or her in the right way, then you'll probably get a decent response. And I do this all the time. Hello from Indonesia, there we go. Fully international conference this morning. I do this all the time, so I approach people on LinkedIn that I want to talk to. I had a conversation with a guy from Australia this morning, and I do this as a regular habit on a daily basis. But how do you contact people that you don't know? Well, some people say, oh, hang on a minute, how can I contact people I don't know? But my answer back to them is, the next person you do business with, or the next person who hires you in a job, are you likely to know them now? Well, probably not. So, you know, a friend is a stranger today, yeah? If you engage with people and you do it in the right way, you build relationships, and these could be the people that you do business with or that hire you further down the line. Thank you very much. Somebody's saying words of wisdom. So I'm going to tell you how to contact people on LinkedIn professionally if you don't know them. So if you click on, well, there's 2 or 3 things you can do. First thing you can do is you can see if you've got a common connection if you've got a connection in common, and if you have, you can. I'm broadcasting 4G. If you have got a common connection, then you can ask your connection to introduce you, and simply you go onto the contact that you want to talk to. You click on the blue button at the top. There's a drop-down menu and it says Get Introduced, and you have an opportunity to select the person that you want to introduce you, and this will be a person that's connected to your target. So that's the first way to do it. That can take a little bit of time because you're reliant on somebody else. And what I would say with the introduction method is give your contact a call firsthand, because quite a lot of us on LinkedIn are connected to people we don't actually know. So you want to make sure that that introduction is gonna work for you. So the second thing you can do is you can connect directly. People say, oh, you can't do that. Well, actually you can. And what I've done for, the past 10 years probably, is I just click on the person, the blue button, and say connect. And when the options come up, I just click we've done business together, and I write them a personal message. I haven't done businesses yet, but that's not to say I won't do business in the future. And it's a personal message that's about them. So it's about something I've seen, something that interests me about their profile. It's a compliment, and then I just ask to connect. And once we're connected, I then have an opportunity to send a longer message. That's the second thing you can do. The third thing you can do, if you don't want to do the direct message, is you can have a look down their profile and see which groups they're in. Because if they're in a group and you join that group and get accepted into that group, you can message them directly through the group, whether you're a connection or not. Because LinkedIn has 3 types of connections: first, second and third tier connections, but also something called group connections. So if I want to contact, I don't know, let's make something up. If I want to contact Barbara, who's the chief executive of ABC Limited, and I know that Barbara is in the website development group on LinkedIn, if I join the website development group on LinkedIn, then I can message her directly without being a connection. So that's often the thing people don't know. That if you join the same group, you can contact people directly. So that's probably about it for this morning. Just to say 3 things on LinkedIn that you can think about doing: publish posts, fantastic. Have a look at my profile, see some of the published posts I've done as an example. Second thing is groups. Be in the right groups. Think of them as ponds in the big ocean that is LinkedIn. And then finally, of course, you've got the last thing I mentioned, which is just gone out of my head. No, it hasn't. Advanced people search. There we go. And contacting people directly who you want to be talking to, whether it be about job search or business. So, how can you increase your ranking? Brooke Taylor Music has asked. Okay, so your ranking is all about your contribution on LinkedIn. So if you're publishing posts, you're doing status updates, you're posting in groups, this is all going to increase your ranking. So you've got to be active, and LinkedIn is not something you can pick up on a particular day, drop it for a week, and then pick it back up again. You've got to do this thing consistently each and every day. And on the last night's scope, I talked about inspiration and when I get inspired and get my ideas. Well, it's first thing in the morning, especially when the sun's shining, as it is to my right. So that's the best time to be active on LinkedIn, because that's when you're engaging, you're active. Do 20 minutes a day. That's all you need to do. If you build 2 or 3 connections each and every day, then you're well on your way to having the 4,000 connections that I've got now, which gives you huge reach across the world. So thank you, Brooke. That's nice of you to say. So what I'd invite all of you on the scope this morning to do is to connect to me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn username is Simon Gray. That's Gray ACA, not the 50 Shades. Simon Gray, Gray ACA. If you connect on there, send me a message. Let me know what you thought about the scope this morning. If you go to my Facebook page, I put this up there afterwards, which is facebook.com/Career Codex. And I'll be back tomorrow with another scope. Not quite sure what I'm going to speak about yet. If anyone's got anything they want me to talk about that relates to careers, job market, job search, or business, drop me a message at facebook.com/Career Codex or at my LinkedIn profile. And the final thing, if you go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Career Codex, that's the last time I'll say it, I promise. I'm doing a webinar, free webinar, on Thursday and Friday this week. On the webinar is a book launch. It's the launch of my new book, Super Secrets of Successful Executive Job Search. The format is I'm going to give a lot of free advice and some insight as to how to stand out in the job market, whatever your level. And anyone who signs up to the webinar and who's there at the end will have an opportunity to get hold of a copy of the book for free, an e-version. So if you'd like to join in, go to Facebook, go to Career Codex on there and sign up. And I better get off to my client this morning. We're talking about social media, positioning their business, and lots of other good stuff. So have a great day wherever you are, and talk to you soon.